Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. I'm going to be doing an In the News segment today, and we're going to be doing In the News Taylor Swift. Yes, Taylor Swift. I don't do a lot of celebrities, actually, and I've actually had a number of you, one person in particular who's been asking me to do Taylor Swift for a while now, and um, she's in the news, she's in love, she's in trouble with the Republicans, so why not, right? So let's get started and take a look at Taylor. Now, I do want to full disclosure here, I don't really know anything about Taylor Swift. Uh, quite frankly. I'm not a fan, although I'm sure she's wonderful. Um, I don't have any children. I don't have grandchildren. I don't hang around young people on a regular basis, so I'm not really sure what they're into. And I believe Taylor Swift might be real popular with the tweens, perhaps, but I could be wrong about that. I know their mothers like it, and that she had this giant. All right, let me stop talking for a minute and put this into the slideshow. She just had this huge concert tour, the Eras tour, which was so successful that she actually helped the gross national product, I think, of the United States. She made billions of dollars, and she took the uh, the tour worldwide. So she is definitely a force to be reckoned with. And here we have a picture of her on her Eras tour. She's a very beautiful young woman. And here is her chart. Now, this is a chart for 5:17 in the morning, I believe. I found this one, I think, on Astro Theme, but it was suspect as far as the validity of the time. So we can't be perfectly sure of the time. This chart gives her a Scorpio rising, which I could see that in her face. I could also, Scorpio risings tend to have very intense energies. You feel them. They have a magnetic personality, and they're seen when they want to be seen, and they're not seen when they don't want to be seen. So as I said, I don't really follow her. She does have cat-like eyes. She could very well have a Leo ascendant. I don't know. But we'll go with this ascendant because we're going to just be looking at the planetary picture and not take the houses perhaps into too much consideration. Although I do have to say, with this ascendant and all that energy in the second house, this is definitely somebody who would be making a lot of money, a lot of money. So, just a couple of things about her chart in general. She is a Sagittarius. She's born on the 13th of December 1989. And she has been in the spotlight and been in the out in the world for a long time now. She started, I believe, as a country singer when she was younger. She is a singer-songwriter, and I know she also had an issue with wanting to get the rights to her songs. And I know she went through some big legal battles for that. She ended up re-recording all her music. I think putting it on her own label. Now, of course, if I'm wrong about this, I apologize because I don't really know. This is what I think I know about her. So if you want to correct me down in the just to educate people and to educate myself, anything down in the comments you can. I'm not offended by that. All right, so we have a Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a very big picture kind of energy, very freedom oriented. She does not like to be held back. She does not like to be held in. She has a Mars in Scorpio. Mars and Scorpio are good with money. Um, and Mars is very happy being in Scorpio. So Mars in Scorpio is a very powerful placement. I'm thinking of another Mars in Scorpio who's also a woman who's also very rich, and that's Oprah. So that Mars in Scorpio certainly can do that. Um, she actually has an interesting or a well, let's continue before I get to the most interesting thing I think in her chart. She does have a lot of Capricorn energy. She does have a lot of Capricorn energy. Capricorn's been in Pluto was in Capricorn from 2008 until just a few weeks ago. It'll be back in Capricorn, the last degrees of Capricorn, come the fall actually, and then go into Aquarius and stay in Aquarius for 20 years. But in this period of time, Pluto has gone over all of these planets in her chart. And also it went over when she was relatively young. The last planet Pluto went over in Capricorn was her Saturn at 13 degrees of Capricorn. And that happened back, I think, around 2015 or 16. Now, I know she had a run-in with um, Kanye West. I think it might have been around that time. Again, I guess I probably should have done my research on that stuff. That's not really what I'm interested in looking at in as far as her chart so much um, as I am what's going on with her. Why is she really so um, a woman of the moment, right? A woman of the moment. Now, I just want to point out, you say, wow, she is powerful young woman. She knows what she wants. She goes for what she wants. She's very successful. 1989 was a year. This is the same year that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was born. And she's another very young woman who sort of came in like gangbusters and is now one of the most not maybe not traditionally one of the most powerful um, women in Washington, but she does have quite a reach, and she does talk to the young people, and in a similar manner, I think, to Taylor Swift, in that you can empower yourself and you can have what you want and you can go after what you want. You both deserve it and you have the ability and the capacity to do it. That I know Taylor Swift definitely has that vibe, and as does Alexandria. Um, all right. So, and Alexandria also has Uranus and Neptune and Saturn in this configuration. The late 80, early 90s to like 89 to 93, when actually Uranus and Neptune was coming together. This was really the start of a whole new sort of energy profile coming in. In fact, I believe it wasn't 89, it was 87 when we had the harmonic convergence. So there's a lot of really powerful souls coming in at this time. We also have to remember that this was the time that the Berlin Wall came down. And so there was the sort of vivification of parts of the world reuniting, right? As the walls came down. And now we're what? Everybody's talking about building them, but you can't put the genie back in the bottle, as they say. Um, According to this, she has a Cancer moon. I can see that in her. She could have a Gemini moon because she does speak. She does speak about her feelings. She expresses her feelings. And she has the moon conjunct Jupiter, which is our big feelings. And there's Chiron there as well. And so I think she has an ability to really sort of understand the sensitivities of girls and women as they try to make their way through the world and they try to find love and they try to be powerful and find love at the same time. Sometimes that is not, well, it's neither one of those things are easy, but when you try to put them together, sometimes it's really not easy. Um, I want to just point out her Pluto. She has Pluto at 17 degrees of Scorpio, and her nodes of the moon are North Node in Aquarius at 18 degrees and South Node in Leo at 18 degrees. Pluto is in a very, very tight square with the nodes of her moon. Now, I have friends whose sons have this in their chart, although they are younger and they have Pluto and Sag, but they have Pluto square the nodes as well. And these are young men who are very, very successful. I think one of her sons bought a house and a nice house, not a house I could afford, when he was 24, because he's such a successful creator, business person, you know, the kind of stuff that he does. So um, that Pluto square the nodes, although I haven't always associated it with money, it seems to so far anyway, it seems to be an indication of that. Um, who else has Pluto square the nodes? Hillary Clinton does. Hillary Clinton has Pluto square the nodes. She's also a very powerful woman, although not very well liked um, for the most part, but definitely very, um, very much a powerful woman and a woman with money. All right. So she has Pluto square the nodes. When you have Pluto square the nodes, your lifetime is you're at a crossroads, you're at an evolutionary crossroads. In order for her to evolve, she needs to move in the direction of Taurus for her Pluto in Scorpio to evolve. That Pluto and Taurus in this chart would be in the sixth house of work. Now, um, in order for her to um, do this, to move Pluto, she needs to go through the resolution node, which would be her Leo, her South Node in Leo, and then once Pluto can go back to the past and change or transform or come to understand that South Node in Leo. And of course, Leo is about self-expression. Leo is about being in charge. It's about leadership. It's about shining your light, et cetera, et cetera. So that desire nature, that scorpionic nature has to move through that South Node in Leo to understand her heart and then able to express it, that North Node in Aquarius to the masses, um, and in a way that she can have people see in her songs themselves, right? And it sounds like that's exactly what she's done. Now, I'm always, one of the things I like to say when I do, people my age or older or even younger, but when I talk about the new generation that's come in, this sort of new energy that came in when Uranus and Neptune were in Capricorn. Um, that they seem to come in like already like the pump is primed for immediate like i I want to call it success, but it's influence. It's success that brings influence. And it seems to me that they also learn their lessons pretty quick so far anyway. And what might take somebody from my generation 30 years to accomplish to get to a point where they feel like they can, express themselves in the way they want or whatever, it doesn't take that long for these individuals. And of course, things are a little bit more dire, I think, than they maybe had been, or maybe not. I mean, things have been dire through the whole process of humanity on planet Earth. I'm not sure we can say what was worse than another, but there is this point where we come to where we say, isn't there something else? Isn't there, can we do it some other way? But she's has a very, very powerful chart with all of this scorpionic energy, um, and all the Capricorn is generally successful. Now, she does have Venus in Aquarius, and that Venus in Aquarius is going to have Pluto make a conjunction to it. Now, it has been approaching that Venus in Aquarius. It when Pluto went into Aquarius. Um, I'm not sure if that was the beginning of her era tour, but that happened in March of 2023 and was there until I think July. And so then it moved back into Aquarius. I mean, Capricorn. Now it's back in Aquarius, and it is actually going to conjunct her Venus. I believe it conjuncts her Venus 5 times over this year and next year. So that is a transformation of her values, of what she loves. She has Venus in Aquarius. She has a love for humanity. She has a love for what's fair. She's definitely more politically aligned with Aquarian ideals. Okay, Aquarian ideals. All right, let's continue. Let's take a look at her numbers. Um, Now we know her, of course, as Taylor Swift. Her full name is Taylor Allison Swift. She was born in Reading, Pennsylvania. Some places say West Reading. I'm not sure if there's that much of a difference. You can let me know if you're from Reading. Um, and we have the suspect time at 5:17 a.m. We know she was born on December 13th, 1989. The word Taylor Swift, as we know her, vibrates to a 51-6. That is the King of Swords. King of Swords holds the swords of justice. The King of Swords is a Libra energy. So she comes across as very fair, very pleasant Libra, right? But you're not going to mess with her. She's going to put the line in the sand when she feels there is a line to be had. Now, when we look at your vibration, we look at Taylor's vibration, or we were to look at your vibration, um, your name is the vibration that you come in on. It's similar to Pluto and the south node of the moon, which indicates previous lifetimes, previous experiences for the soul and the like. She has a 32-5 soul. That's the 5 is a vibration of freedom. So she is somebody who needs a lot of freedom. This is not somebody you can hold back. You have to let her do her thing, so to speak. It is the 6 of Wands in the tarot, and it is a Leo vibration. She has that south node in Leo, so we can connect that to that. And of course, Leo is a soul that is self-expressive, right? Very self-expressive. Now, her soul vibration is the same vibration as the US path of life, 32-5. And so people who have 32-5 in their numbers generally do very well in America, and she has done very well in America. And then you wonder, well, why are people picking on her? It's also the shadow. 32-5 is the shadow of the US. So she can activate the shadow of the United States as well. And pretty much the shadow of the United States is I'm free and I don't give a crap about you as long as I'm free and I can have what I want and go where I want to go and do what I want to do. Um, that can be the 32-5 as a shadow vibration as well, insisting on on freedom, but not taking the responsibility for it. That is not Taylor Swift. This is a very responsible young woman. Now, her outer personality, this is the Taylor that you might meet, is a 46-1 vibration. That is the 6 of Cups, and in the tarot, it's a Scorpio vibration. And we know she has Mars in Scorpio, and she has Pluto in Scorpio, and she may actually have her ascendant in Scorpio. So we can see that there's very much a Scorpio energy with her. Of course, Scorpio is very is an energy that people want you. I mean, it's a sexy energy. And she definitely has quite a bit of sex appeal, but yet she has this sort of childlike uh, way about her. And that's, I think, in part to the fact where her numbers sit on the tree of life, which we'll look at a little bit later. But she does have a fire soul and a water outer personality. And when you see that, it usually means there's some sort of spiritual initiation that she's undergoing. Now, how well is she doing? Well is she balancing her inner fire and her outer sensitivity or outer um, water there? Um, we would know by looking at her expression when you add those two vibrations, 32 and 46, get a 78-6 vibration, which in the tarot is the Ten of Pentacles. And this woman is making lots of pentacles. So we know that part of whether her soul is on its path and is in good relationship with itself is to see the expression of that 78-6 vibration. I mean, honestly, she brought more, like whole towns did a lot better because she had concerts in them because all the girls, one, they needed new outfits. Then they went to get their hair done and they went to get their nails done. And it really did boost. It's like one big party to celebrate the feminine, really, um, which of course is thematic, very much so at this time. Um, if we look at her path of life, now her path of life is something that she may or may not have any experience with. In this case, according to her numbers, she does not. Is it 52-7? This is the Queen of Swords. Now, the Queen of Swords is a queen who has been through a lot of emotional issues, but she has been able to overcome them through balancing of the mind. She also, in this deck, it's a little hard to see because it's so small, but in this deck, the Queen of Swords has a tether around her hand, but it's broken, and it's because she freed herself. And so we can kind of see this energy of freeing yourself from somebody who's trying to tell you what to do, and you become the arbiter of your actions and your decisions. And that's very much a Queen of Swords energy. So it seems like she's really doing the Queen of Swords quite well in this lifetime. And then we have her eccentric angle, which is her shadow, and this is her wound. Now, this we may or may not see, but usually the wound is connected to um, eventually shining the light. And the 41-5 is the Ace of Cups. The 5 is activity, action, sort of lines up with that 5 soul. But the 41-5 is well, when we get to the Tree of Life, we'll talk about it. I won't talk about it quite yet. All right, let's keep going. If we look at her divine triangle, her blueprint, she is out of her youth square. You spend from age 0 to age 27 in your youth square. When we add up the numbers of her name and her month of birth, we get a 48-4, which is the 4 of Swords, is located in Hesed. Hesed is associated with Jupiter. Her power square here is also a 48-4. I've seen this before, and one of the people that sticks out to me the most, when I saw this, I thought of this celebrity. It was Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston had a 48-3 here and a 48-3 here, and she was extraordinarily talented, had an incredible voice, and was extraordinarily successful. Okay, so I don't know if that's something with singers or with people who are out, that we know about. If that's a thing, but it's just something that I noticed. I'll keep an eye out and let you guys know if I see it again. But so this is like, 27 and 20, it's 54 years being in that 58-4 vibration, which is the four of swords. And see, we have it in both places. This is connected to the wound, and then this is how you build your power by healing the wound. And she's sort of directly healing the wound, and she has a lot of power. Now, she's on this line right here. She just turned 34. She'll be on this line for another year. When she's 36, she moves on to this baseline here, which is a 15-6, which is a Capricorn vibration. So she's not finished making money, guys. All right. Over here on her pinnacles, she actually, in 2018, she moved into a 40/4 vibration after being in this 25/7 for 29 years. Now, for 9 years, she's going to be in the 40/4. And then in 2027, she's going to move up here into the 65/11 vibration. Whoops, here, Robbie, here we go. This is a Capricorn vibration. So we'll see Capricorn cats. We'll see double Capricorn vibrations here. She's definitely a force to be reckoned with. But what's interesting about this 40/4, the 40/4 is somebody who can create an empire. And it looks like she's well on her way to creating her empire. But it's also the path of life for Donald Trump. And it's very interesting that he is jealous of her popularity. He was not named Time Person of the Year. She was, and I think it burned his butt. All right, something else I want to point out. Now, everybody knows that she is dating a football player, Kelsey. No, that's the last. Travis Kelsey. I knew I'd remember it. A tight end for the Chiefs. And he's actually born the same. He was born in '89, a very successful football player. He's actually a Libra, and we'll look at their charts together. Although I don't have an accurate birth time on him, we can still see where his planets fall, and we can see why they're kind of connected at the hip. But we'll do that at the end. I just want to point out, though, that in 2023 she moved into a 32/5 year, which means that she's on the path of her soul. So the things that happened to her this year are very much connected to her soul. And she has two, the first period, which goes from 12/13 of 2023 to 4/13 of 2024. She's in a 14/5 period. And then from 4/13 to 8/13, she's in another 14/5 period. So this right around um, April is a powerful time when you see two of the same vibrations next to each other. Usually something happens and then brings this to a sort of a higher level. This is the Temperance card, so she needs to be very temperate and she needs to be walk the straight and narrow. And then in August, she goes into a 12/3 vibration, which is the Hanged Man. But this is connecting with cosmic consciousness, and you might say, oh, she's in the Hanged Man, nothing's going to happen for her. Well, she's in a Hanged Man 9-year period. A lot has been happening for her. This helps to be connected to source. It helps to be connected to your imaginations. It's a very creative energy. It's a Neptune energy. Highly, highly creative time. So she will most definitely have some more songs by 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 August. And 32/5 is located in the heart chakra. So this would be a time for her to fall in love, actually. So we will see if that actually works out for her. I just want to point out that Jupiter in her chart is at 8 degrees of Cancer. And I find the saving symbols, and these are just a couple of them, and I have a couple more on another slide. But I chose Jupiter because it's connected to both her youth and her power square. And it says a group of rabbits dressed in human clothes walks as if on a parade. The tendency in all forms of life to imitate higher forms as a stimulus for growth. I feel like she does model behavior for young women um, in order to help them to grow and to actuate themselves. I feel like that's part of her thing. Now, I also want to look at Saturn here because Saturn is associated with her path of life. She has her path of life, the Queen of Swords, located in Bina. Bina is connected to the planet Saturn. So this is her path in life. And I find this very interesting as well. It says, an ancient bas relief carved in granite reminds a witness of long forgotten culture. And I think it's the keynote here that describes her a little bit here. Uh, the will to unearth in our culture, as well as in any culture, what has permanent value and to let go of non essentials. Non essentials. So, what has value and whatever else doesn't, out with the bathwater. All right. So, um, on the tree of life, I put in her major numbers. We have her soul and her quiescent, both located in Tiphereth. Tiphereth is associated with the heart chakra. Tiphereth is also associated with the higher self and connected to children. And so she has a both a childlike sweetness about her, and I know that children really like her. Young people really like her because she is strong and sweet and righteous, kind of in a way, right? Um, her path of life is up here in Bina. Bina is associated with the divine feminine. And so coming to understand her power as a woman, her rights to her power as a woman, um, is part of her lesson. 7 as a base number is to know yourself. So this is really about her knowing her own mind, which I believe she does. Um, she knows what she likes, she knows what she doesn't like. I think she expresses it. But people who have things in Bina do have periods of time when they go through a dark night of the soul. And there can be issues in relationship and there can be pain surrounding relationships. Bina, because it's connected to the divine feminine, and we're born in a culture that doesn't value women for the same things they value men for, or for maybe the more important things. Um, it's sort of a very interesting challenge for somebody like Taylor. Now, interestingly enough, AOC also has a vibration up in Bina as well. Um, and so we can see her expressing that divine feminine power energy. Her shadow, Taylor's shadow is up in her crown chakra or in the crown of the tree of life. Um, but the thing with this is the Ace of Cups, right? But if you heal the shadow, it becomes the light that you shine. And so what she would be shining is unconditional love, that everybody has access to it. So it's very possible that she actually is I feel like she's in the process. Your whole life becomes an unsticking of the shadow if you're so inclined to do so, if you have the power or the capacity to do it, or if it's meant to happen in the life that you're in. She also has her expression down here, 78.6. This is Malkuth. Malkuth is a place of famous people. All famous people have something in Malkuth. Famous personalities. It's also the physical plane, and this is a pentacle card. So this is somebody, and a 10 of pentacles, no less. This is somebody who, if she finds balance in her heart, soul quiescent, she will make money. If there's an issue, it's her connection with spirit. And I think that's more of a personal issue for her, so we may not hear about it. But I also feel like I can see the kind of work that she does. Uh, it would be the kind of thing that would heal that wound And when we heal the wound, it becomes the gift we give. So I feel like she's already doing that. I wanted to just look at a couple of other Sabian symbols for her. Um, she has her soul and her quiescent in Tippereth. Tippereth here is associated with the sun in the chart. And so we have the sun at 22 degrees of Sag, a Chinese laundry, loyalty to one's own way of being. Sounds like her. Some parts, uh, some parts of how we are in fact who we are, integrity can depend upon our sticking firmly to our principles and manners. So this is somebody who stays true to her own heart. Yeah. All right. Her expression is in Malkuth. Malkuth is associated with the earth. And where is her earth? Well, her earth is going to be exactly opposite her sun. So she has the earth at 22 degrees of Gemini. Channeled release of emotion. Emotion is a normal aspect of being human and therefore has a proper place in the natural order of life. Sharing our feelings within our community. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, honestly, if you were going to say, what does Swift sing about? Well, she shares her feelings with her community. That's why she's so successful. Hey, shkabibbles. And let's take a look at her shadow. Now, if you have a shadow in um, Kether, um, and you heal it, it's really, really good. If you act from it, it can be very destructive because it's high up in the tree. The planets associated with Kether are Neptune and Pluto. So I look to see where her Neptune or Pluto is. Neptune is at 12 of Capricorn, learning to manage physicality. We gain knowledge of the meaning of life as much by overcoming physical limitations as through the inner reflection on spiritual matters, passing on life lessons that you have learned. Well, that kind of sounds like her music too, doesn't it? And then we have Pluto at 17 degrees of Scorpio. And what I'm laughing here because this is Pluto square the nodes, right? This is a very, very tight square to the nodes. This really speaks to what her soul is here to do. And it says complete self-determination. I think she got the memo on this, guys. I really do. When we are self-empowered, there is no need to accept imposition of understandings or receive permission on how to behave. Complete self-determination. So honestly, I feel like she is really, really working her chart to the best of her ability. All right, so let me just stop the share here, and then I'm going to share a chart I have. Let me just make sure I have it here before I say I'm going to share it. Okay. Oh, I guess I could share all of these. Yeah. I'll share all of these. Okay. Let me, I have a couple of charts for you to look at with her chart. All right, share screen. Okay, so this is Travis. This is her beau. I gave him a noontime chart because we don't have an accurate birth time. He was born in Westlake, Ohio. She was born in West Reading, which I think is cute. On the 5th of October, 1989, same year as her. And so we can see he also has Uranus, Saturn, and Neptune, that conjunction. He actually has a very similar chart to Alexandria, who I believe was born October 13th. So he has a very similar chart to AOC. And let's see, he has a south node in Leo as well and a north node in Aquarius, which we would expect to see because they're born the same year and actually very close to the same time. But what I want to point out here, this is Taylor Swift's chart with the 5:17 a.m. Chart time, and this is Travis. And the thing that, of course, pops out at me, well, of course, they're going to have Jupiter, Jupiter, that's going to be similar. Chiron, Chiron. A lot of these are going to be quite similar because they're born around the same time, right? But look at this right here. Now, I have had this in my life. I had a person that I got involved with, um, and our Venus and our Mars were conjunct. When I read about it, I'll tell you, in that experience, I was very physically attracted. It was like we were like a magnet, literally like a magnet. Like, he wasn't a high quality person, and he was not the right. He wasn't going to be somebody who I was going to be able to build a life with. But there was a magnetic attraction that was I had never experienced before, and that was because we had Venus Mars conjunct. And they have that. And so they have chemistry up the kazoo and down the kazoo and through the kazoo and around the kazoo. This is electric. It's electric. Toot, toot, toot. He probably has a Sag moon on her sun. That's really nice as well. Um, and let's see. She does have a Venus in air, and he has his Mars in air, and his sun, if in fact this is her correct chart, his sun and Mars fall in her house of friendship, which is really nice if you want to be in a relationship with somebody. It's best that you're friends with them. That's what really matters. So there is definitely um, some um, there definitely is some, well, there's a lot of chemistry and a lot of energy between these two. Will it be long term? It's hard to say. He does have Saturn on her Mercury, which can depress your ability to express yourself. But she also has Saturn close to her Mercury. So I don't think it's going to be the same kind of Saturn. Oh, his Saturn's on your Mercury. He's not going to make you talk. This guy knows that, first of all, he's not going to stop her. Um, but she may be a little bit more resistant to sharing her relationship songs about Travis than she had been with others. But it may be because she's older, wiser, and maybe this is a serious thing for her. So I also wanted to show you her chart on the United States chart. Remember, we said she has this her soul vibration and the vibration of the United States path and shadow is the same. So we have that numerological connection. But we do see that she has Jupiter on the United States, Jupiter, Chiron on the United States sun, the moon perhaps on Venus. This is really nice. AOC has this as well. Well, she doesn't have the moon on this, but AOC has these energies here as well. She does have her south node conjunct the south node, I mean her Venus, excuse me, conjunct the south node of the moon. And let's see, what else? Is there anything else? I think Neptune is opposite the sun, and Saturn opposite the sun. Saturn opposite the sun is very tight. So this is somebody who, people take seriously in America, I would say. And perhaps holds America to its potential. All right, so check this out. Now, this is Donald Trump's chart, and this is Taylor Swift's chart. And there's nothing really, well, there's actually a couple things. First of all, her sun sits on his moon and his south node. So there's a familiarity that he feels. He actually may feel that she is some sort of leader, or this is like a big ego on his very sensitive um, baby moon here. So I do think he feels somewhat, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Threatened by her. But so there's that. Her Jupiter sits on his Mercury, Remember his Mercury, the only aspect to his Mercury is a square to Neptune. That's the liar, liar, pants on fire aspect he has, and she has Jupiter there. So Jupiter makes it bigger, like maybe it exposes more lie here. I don't know, it's possible. But the real thing, the real problem, I guess, maybe for Trump is she really gets under his skin. Her Mars is in his fourth house, but it's almost exactly square his Mars. And uh this is tough. This is tough. So for him, and probably for her too, because she would prefer to probably not have to deal with this Mama Luke, but it is what it is. She's very popular and he wants to win most popular, and of course he's gonna lose bigly, as they say. All right, so that is what I want to say about Taylor. Let me um stop my share. Hopefully you found this interesting. She's quite a young woman. She's going to continue to be successful. I hope that she does find what she's looking for. But she knows her own heart. I think her biggest challenge, I think, like with many women who are powerful, is to find somebody who will give her the freedom to be who she is meant to be. And it's hard when two people are celebrities. So hopefully she'll find happiness. And we'll certainly get a lot of good music out of it, I think. Um, all right. Well, if you enjoy this type of work, you can always get a reading with me. You don't have to be Taylor Swift. Um, you can there's a link below for readings. I do hour and hour and a half readings. If it's your first reading, I prefer the extra time if you can find your way to do it. And I'm also starting a beginner's astrology. I actually started one of my classes, my Saturday class already started this past Saturday. And my Monday evening class is starting this Monday, the 5th of February. There are still openings. If you would like to join us, you can, as long as I know that you're doing it, and if I'll look to make sure that nobody else came in, and I'll send you the link and all that stuff. So it's 6 consecutive Monday evenings, 7 to 9. Um everything gets recorded. So even if you can't make all the classes, you get all the recordings. And beginner's astrology is a great way to get started in astrology. I never took a beginner's class. I was mostly self-taught, and then took on teachers later in my teaching myself. Um, but I think a good basic course is a really good place to start. Don't do it like I did it. uh, I you know I always I'm gonna figure this out, right? I jump in at first. It only took 30 years for me to figure it out. So you get the benefit of that. All right, everyone. Have yourself a great evening. Much love. Um, it's turning around. The lights are on, and everybody is going to realize that they have to contribute their light. And we're going to get through this period, and we're going to be better for it, with really powerful, fulfilled, integrated men and women leading us. Take care, everyone. Namaste.